So let's go to Eric Adams. Let's talk about Eric Adams. So New York, after I left, New York ain't been the same since I came through and I stepped on the buildings. New York ain't been the same since me and my bag chasers converged on there, shut that shit down, had a great time, and then we continue to do what it is that we do. Shout out to my NY people and the Patreon meetup. I got a new meetup that's coming. It's probably going to be in D.C. They say that D.C. is one of the worst ran cities in America. Is that true? They say that D.C. is one of the worst ran cities in America, and I need to understand if that is true. Eric Adams. Let me give you a little bit of a preview. Damn, I got to start switching this stuff over to my other cameras. Let me give you all a little bit of a preview of what's going on in New York, y'all.
Tonight, the migrant crisis in New York City is nearing a breaking point, with shelters at capacity and asylum seekers now being forced to sleep on the streets. CBS's Meg Oliver reports city officials are asking the federal government to step in to help.
In Midtown Manhattan, it's a scene of human misery. Asylum seekers.
Oh, heck no. Hecky no. Hold on. Let me back up out here in these streets. What the hell is going on out here? You got Asian men and black men out here together? Asian men and black men is out here together? Or is he Filipino? Is he Mexican? What is he? Hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing it. This is not it. This is not it, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I don't give a fuck what you say. You could say Anton is racist. You could say Anton feeling a certain type of way. You could say Anton is not peace and Pan-Africanism. Fuck no. Nope.
Human misery. Asylum seekers sleeping on sidewalks outside of the Roosevelt Hotel. 36-year-old Adrian Daniel Jose is among dozens of people waiting to get services, leaving his wife and 3 kids in Venezuela.
Your glass is broke. That's when you were robbed in Mexico. And so tape is holding your...
So how did that become our problem? How did it become our problem because he got robbed in Mexico and so now we got to get him some new prescription glasses? How did
glasses together and you've arrived here in America with the clothes on your back?
From this moment on, it's downhill. There is no more room.
To reduce the chaos, Adams and the mayors of Chicago and Denver are asking the Biden administration to expedite work permits for migrants.
There has been no comprehensive response.
So that's how y'all living on the streets of New York out here in these streets? This is what y'all doing? Listen, today I am going to hold the people accountable, not Jay Morrison, not Boyce Watkins, not Umar Johnson, not Mayor Eric Adams, not Brandon Johnson over there in Chicago, not Gavin Newsom. You know why? Because you voted for him. You voted for them. You asked for these people. Y'all voted with y'all money. You voted with your dollars. You voted with your support. You voted with likes on Instagram and followings. You voted with everything. You voted with love. You advocated for it. You believed in it. You rolled with it. These are your representatives. These are a reflection of the community at large. When y'all say that y'all got finessed, that means you a finesser. You was looking for a shortcut and you got finessed. You deserve every single thing that you get for it. You deserve it. You deserve it.
No comprehensive response yet from the federal government or the states that have the ability to provide the help that is desperately needed.
Thousands have been bussed from Texas to cities across the country, part of Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott's controversial Operation Lone Star. In noon tonight, Texas DPS confirms troopers have begun detaining some fathers traveling with their families on trespassing charges.
This is insane. The troopers is just watching like, well, I don't know what's going on. Ain't nothing I can do. My hands is tied. There's nothing that they giving us in order to be able to prevent this crisis. But at the same time, we're going to go ahead and house them. And now Eric Adams, I'm going to tell you, I think he sold out for money. I think he sold out for power. He sold out for money. He sold out for visibility when it came to aligning himself with the current administration. I think that Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson, and all of your other leaders that y'all voted in has sold y'all the fuck out.
while children and their mothers are turned over to U.S. Border Patrol. The move is reminiscent of the Trump administration policy that separated some families for years. Back in New York City, Natalia and Maxim Sabatina from Russia are seeking political asylum.
Have you slept?
No, I can't sleep in this situation. I can't sleep. It's not safe for me, for him.
To cut down on illegal border crossings, the Biden administration barred asylum claims from those who don't first seek refuge in other countries. But a district judge ruled against it. Unless a higher court intervenes, officials will need to stop that policy starting next week.
Now, Eric Adams has went on a tour, starting with CBS Mornings. He went on a tour starting with CBS Mornings in order to justify his position and what's going on over in New York City. Let's see what he got to say.
Humanitarian crisis all tied to immigration. Migrants coming here to the city is unfolding on city streets, and we are more than 2,000 miles, of course, from the southern border. New York's leaders say they are struggling to house more than 57,000 asylum seekers currently.
Hey, remember when they asked y'all to let them come into y'all homes? They said that they would give y'all some money if y'all let people that you've never seen before, don't know anything about, don't know their background, don't know what it is that they was raised like. We won't even let a woman that we take home from the bar that's supposedly supposed to give us some Gawk 3000 come into our households, but we're supposed to let strangers. Remember when Eric Adams was saying that he wanted you as a citizen of New York City to let strangers, and they would pay you to let strangers come into your house and sleep next to your children?
Currently in the city's care, more arriving every week. Some of those migrants without beds indoors have been sleeping on the streets. Mayor Eric Adams is now sounding the alarm and says he wants the federal government to take action. And Mayor Adams joins us right now. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yesterday you said you're on pace to spend $5 billion on migrant care in this fiscal year. To give people some perspective, that is more than the city spends on sanitation, parks, and the fire department combined. So you're asking for money here. Do I have that right?
A combination, more than money, because the faucet is flowing. We have to stop the faucet.
$5 billion, more than what it takes to actually run the city itself. They're petitioning. And see, here's the thing. They're not asking for it from the federal government. The federal government is just the person the entity that administers the funds. They're asking for it from you and me, because ultimately we're the ones that pay every day. When you go to work and you get your paycheck and all of that other type of stuff, you know who the ones that puts money into the thing that he's then asking for? Us. We pour into the coffers, and then they distribute it over into people like this in order for them to be able to manage, not solve for. That's the key word. They're managing asylum seekers, meaning that they have no long-term solution, and this is just $5 billion this fiscal year, meaning that for this budget year, they're going to run into a deficit in order to continue to maintain asylum seekers in your city. So now they're making DeSantis in Texas look like geniuses. Well, why are they making DeSantis and Texas look like geniuses? Because they said, listen, we don't want this shit in our cities. We gonna fly them out. We gonna bus them to your city. Yep, there may be a cost on the front end of what it's going to cost them to get them over there to you, New York, to get them over there to you, Kamala Harris, to get them over to D.C. But ultimately, this is what y'all want. This is what y'all keep advocating for. It's not our problem. We're going to leave them on your doorstep. That's exactly what's happening.
We have to make sure we have a real decompression strategy at the border, and we have to ensure that we have real immigration reform, because it's going to continue. It's not sustainable. When you look at 10,000 a month, the math just does not add up.
Reform to the
I'm
system.
going to read the super chat shortly. I got you.
Is a long-term fix that's going to have to go through Congress. Short-term, are you frustrated with the Biden administration? Do you place blame on them for a more
Oh my God, I wonder what he's going to say.
welcoming stance that has led to this record surge?
There's a lot of blame to go around. Again, the Republicans have been blocking real immigration reform.
I thought Eric Adams was a man of the people. I thought that he was a top cop. Actually, really a man of the people. You're telling me that this man is really, really a politician. I mean, he got on the blue suit with the blue and brown tie and the white shirt, shaved, no mustache, sitting on good CBS mornings on Good Morning America or whatever the fuck this is. And this man is just giving us talking points. Listen, guys, there's a lot of blame to go around, but the Republicans are the ones that's blocking immigration reform. What are you fucking talking about? You wouldn't even give these people enough money to even build a border wall to help our agents in the first place. You blocked it. You said, see, we don't forget. You said, out of y'all own mouths, that it was inhumane for us to be able to manage our borders effectively. Our legislators in every level blocked funding and then also used it as a bargaining chip to remove the possibility of investing billions of dollars that you're now using in order to house migrants and asylum seekers. You blocked the funding for us to be able to manage our borders more effectively and to enable our agents with the tools that they need in order to be able to prevent this shit happening in the first place. And you're talking about immigration reform? See, I remember when you use it as a bargaining chip in order to be able to get certain bills passed. And you use it as a bargaining chip in order to, remember to build the border? Remember that? Never happened. Remember that shit? I remember. You're not going to finesse me talking about it's a lot of blame to go around.
We're seeing that FEMA is using dollars on the southern border to allow people to bus people to New York City. And what's at the heart of all of this for me is what is more American than the right to work? Why are we having thousands of people here that are not given the basic premise? The precursor to sleep to American dream is the ability to work.
It's a 1996 law. It says you got to sit out for 5 months, right? You need that work.
And that's even with an asterisk, because even when you sit out for those 5 months, the backlog is so much. Some people could wait anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 years. And so we're saying, in essence, that we have to take care of 97,000 people, food, shelter, clothing, educate the children, the entire combination, and it just continues to flow.
So how much are you asking for? What are you asking the government for? In terms of dollars, how much are you asking?
Well, in the 3 years, this is a $12 billion price tag so far.
Hey, they be throwing these numbers out like we was talking about a $12 Happy Meal. They throw around $12 billion, a number like 12 billion, like we ain't got a recession on our hands. Like we ain't already got a homelessness crisis happening in our own cities. Like this shit is just, they throw around these numbers like it's just cool. No biggie, no big deal. I mean, 5 billion, 12 billion, whatever it is that you got extra, just over. We got literally tens of trillions of dollars in the federal deficit that is continuing to drive up inflation. Cars, motherfuckers can't even feed themselves. You can't go to the gas station. You can't even blink twice. And we throwing around numbers like 12 billion like it's just like, not a big deal. You the one that's going to pay for it, not me. You the one that's going to pay for it.
We have $100 million, a little over $100 million that we received. This is their issue. This is a national issue, and it should be treated as such. And that's why the governor of Massachusetts.
Meanwhile, Hawaii is burning to the fucking ground, and we throwing around $12 billion numbers like it's not a big deal. No worries, no worries.
Stated. Should not be pushed on the stage.
But I hear them say, Mr. Mayor, that, let's see, New York, I think, has gotten about $140 million more, they say, than any other city that's not a border city in this country. That there's only so much that they can do. What do you say to that?
Well, think about what happened in the last few months. We have created a funnel. All of the bordering states have now took the funnel right to New York City. New York City is the economic engine of this entire state.
So saw that shit then.
Country. If you decimate this city, you're going to decimate the foundation of what's happening. Look at Chicago, Los Angeles, Houston. and now you're hearing the governor of Massachusetts. And so when people say, well, we gave them $100 million, $12 billion bill?
Yeah.
I mean, what
So
table
what
are
do you
we
think,
dining
Mr. Mayor,
at?
when you see all the people that are just laying in the streets, you walk by, it is jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
And the numbers keep coming and coming when you think, I don't have any more room at the end, so to speak.
Along with the unhoused people we already have
That
here.
we already have.
Exactly,
That's a very good point.
exactly. And think about the miracle that took place over the last year in April when this really started coming from a governor who wanted to use people as pawns. When you do an analysis
He's throwing shade at Texas and Florida, y'all.
of other cities, you did not see our migrant asylum seekers sleeping on the streets. You didn't see you don't see tent cities here. You don't see the cardboard boxes here.
You know why? Because they're using all of the money in order to put them up in nice hotel rooms. Now you see them sleeping on the street because they ran out of the federal money that they gave them. But that's because y'all was putting them up in hotels. I was questioning whether or not I should even do a meetup in New York. I literally was questioning whether or not I'd even do a meetup in New York.
We made a major inroad on street homelessness. So what you
No,
saw
you didn't.
at the Roosevelt a few days ago is because the dam finally burst.
Yeah.
There was the incoming was so much, and then there was a different population. We were dealing with South and Central American Venezuelans. Now you're seeing people come from all over the globe to New York City.
You know,
This is insane, bro. This is insane. But this is what it is that y'all get. This is what y'all voted for. This is what y'all wanted. This is what you got to deal with. And so now that you have it at your doorstep, you know, they say that when you're younger, you really, really on the left. Like you all the way on the left. But they say as you get older and you get more understanding, you start to move over into the right. Move all the way over into the right. All the way over into the right.